Hey, I've always believed, James, that there's even a cure for cancer naturally on this planet somewhere.
Certainly there is. And there's mushrooms that are excellent for that right now. Paul Stamets, again, one of the greatest mycologists I know, on his website has plenty of stuff. It's fungi.com. They're using all kinds of different medicinal plants. And this knowledge has come from the indigenous cultures. But see, these are the guys that are out there doing this kind of research that don't get any funding. You know, they're not playing in the right fields here, you know.
Well, because you can't make money on something like that.
That's
because
right.
It's readily available.
That's right. It's a natural substance. It's not a patentable synthetic chemical.
What does that tell you about this planet, where a disease or an illness or an ailment or a ability to travel in one's mind, that this planet seems to have the remedies or the capabilities of doing all that? It's kind of amazing when you think about it.
Well, we know the Pharmacratic Inquisition, which is what I talked about. It's like when they take the ownership of the plants and they say, we have control of this, you don't have control of this. You can't have it, we can. Well, this is what's happening now, and this is what I'm talking about right here, is the indigenous knowledge, the old knowledge of the world is coming back to the world. And this is the new dispensation of the enlightened age. The enlightened age, remember I said when you use these substances, your brain lights up like a Christmas tree. This is the new age. The age is the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is the water bearer. The water bearer has many different archetypal symbols in it, and one of them is that the water bearer is dumping out the waters of life into the world. The knowledge of the waters of life. Now, the waters of life is a metaphor. It's a metaphor for the plants, the sacred plants that contain the water, the juice. See, because if you look at ancient religion, most of it starts with fertility religion, because the god is the male, the big male in the sky, and the male has sexual intercourse with with Mother Earth through the rain. Now, the god is in the rain. See, so when a plant grows, it has a portion of the god in it. And to indigenous shamanic cultures, you have more proportion of God inside the plants that are psychedelic that puts you into the different realms of consciousness. So when we look at this indigenous knowledge that's coming back into the world right now, we look at archetypes of the symbol of the age, which is the age of Aquarius, as being the water bearer, dumping the knowledge of this back into the world.
Well, let me tell you something. You have educated a lot of people about this arena. Your book, and next hour I want to take some phone calls with you and give people, James, an opportunity to talk with you. The mushrooms specifically, is that what you would call your main area of expertise?
Well, it's the most fun because it has the most cultural phenomenon behind it. Just real quick, let's blast through the Christmas thing since we just went through Christmas.
Yeah.
Now, everybody brings in a tree into their house and puts presents underneath it to give each other for Christmas.
Sure.
Well, why do you do that? This is a cultural icon.
Tradition, right? Yeah.
This is a cultural tradition. Nobody knows. Gee, we don't know why. Well, I'll tell you why. It's because underneath that pine tree, out in nature, is where the Amanita muscaria mushroom grows. And it's a big red mushroom with white spots, and it's been throughout the world called the gift of the gods. This is the true, original present from the heavens.
Never knew that.
Yeah, and it's what it is this particular mushroom is a mycorrhizal symbiont, which means that it's like this fibrous stuff that the mycelium that grows underground and attaches itself to the roots of the trees. It's a symbiont because it feeds the tree and the tree feeds it.
Well, I was going to say, does the tree have anything to do with it? I mean, is it important that it be a pine tree as opposed to a maple tree?
Right. The Amanita muscaria grows under a few trees, and other ones are possible, but primarily it's the conifers, the pine trees, and then also birch and oak. Now, we can talk about different cultures all over the world, and we could talk about the sacred oaks and what those mean, and we could talk about the sacred birches in other areas and what that means, because those are all associated with this mushroom. But in particular, I'm talking right now about the pine tree. and the symbols that are associated with Christmas. Now, the reason that the presents are under the tree is because the mycelium grows under the ground, under the tree, on the roots of the trees. That's the living organism. It becomes a part of the tree. That's what a symbiont is. They actually are merged together. The tree is the host. What do they call the Lord of hosts. The tree is the host, and the mycelium that grows underground is the host for the tree also, because they're a symbiont. The mushroom is actually the fruit of the organism. So the mushroom is the fruit of the tree.
Interesting. What porthole, what key does that mushroom open?
That's the big one.
Stay with us. James Arthur, my guest. We'll take your phone calls next. Get ready to write down those new numbers. I'm George Norrie. This, of course, is Coast to Coast AM. My guest, James Arthur. James, civilizations that are gone now, some of them were extremely advanced. Do you think they tapped into this use of plants for altering consciousness, maybe even increasing their sensitivities?
Oh, definitely. In fact, we can tell which cultures used which plants. Before I go any further, let me take care of a couple things, if I may.
Take care of some business, sure.
Okay. I wanted to let everybody know that's not online that they can order the book, and we have some videos available too. So if you want to call and leave your number, somebody will call you back and give you a full explanation. Now, this number is going to be good for a while, but I'm going to talk about something else here. So if you want to get a pen, I'll come back and give the number out. We started to talk about Christmas. I'd kind of like to go through that real quick and finish that up. The shaman of Siberia, who typically wear red and white to dress up like the red and white mushrooms, they're the ones that use the Amanitas, and one of the oldest cultures that we can trace it back. They use the Amanita muscaria mushroom, which is the one, of course, that grows underneath the
pine trees
that we were talking about. Now, in Siberia, there's real reindeer. Reindeer aren't a mythical creature, and the reindeer love to eat the Amanita muscaria mushrooms. And if you're not quick enough to get them, they'll be gone by the time you get there, because the reindeer will get them.
Maybe they do fly, huh?
That's right. This is where the myth of the reindeer flying comes from. And that one of the names of the mushroom is the fly mushroom, or the fly agaric, because when you leave your body, of course, you better learn how to fly, or you're not gonna do very well. But the shamanic cultures that use the mushroom up there, the shaman, when he comes to your house to do a healing, enters through an opening through the roof, through the smoke hole, and comes down the roof bringing the mushrooms in sacks.
You've got to be kidding.
No.
Just like Santa Claus,
Just
huh?
like Santa Claus. Dressing in red and white, coming in the smoke hole of the chimney, which is in the roof of the house, to bring the gifts, the mushrooms, carried in sacks. Now, this is only the start of it, because the mushrooms, when they dry the mushrooms out, they string them up on strings and hang them over the hearth of the fireplace. So we have here the stockings hanging over the fireplaces. Now, the mushrooms, of course, remember, are part of the symbiotic life of the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So the mushroom is the present under the tree, the gift that's found there. Now, Santa Claus, everybody knows Santa Claus's North Pole home is one place where he goes and comes from. Well, what they don't know is that the shaman, when they leave their body after taking the fly mushrooms, leave to go to the North Star. This is the wormhole, the Stargate, the way out. This is one of the things that me and William Henry will explain at the Stargate Mystery Schools, which is one of those things I'm going to tell you guys about when you have your pins ready in a minute. But when you leave your body, there's always a designed place to go if you're doing that sort of work. Now, so we have the North Pole, North Star, is the home of Santa Claus. The Big Dipper is actually Santa Claus's chariot. It's the chariot of Osiris, the chariot of Wotan, the chariot of all these gods that were metamorphosed into what we have as Santa Claus today, the Germanic and Norse gods.